For a few seconds, Matt Cheatham didn't know what had happened. He was driving home on a rainy night last October near Tecumseh when a tree snapped and hit his car. Then he realized he was in trouble.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
I don't know where I'm at. Well, I just been hit by a tree limb that fell and hit my car.
A tree has fallen on Matt Cheatham's car during his drive home, and a limb about this size has gone through Matt Cheatham's chest. He has been impaled.
The tree came in up the upper left-hand corner of the windshield, came in here, the center of my chest, and came out my right side of my back.
Amazingly, he remained conscious and alert. He even called his wife Jill before dialing 911.
Oh my goodness, what would I have done if I had actually answered that call? There was no way I could have helped him. I had no idea where he was.
I continued to drive until I met somebody, and then I stopped that person, rolled down my window, and asked him if he would help. I'm talking to 911, could you help me?
Matt doesn't know who stopped and helped, but minutes later, first responders from Goshen Fire Rescue and Transcare were on scene.
Just walk into the car and then seeing him and then have him look at me and to see him, his eyes are open and sitting there breathing, I was just like, how could this be?
I climbed up into the ambulance with him, into the car with him. I got him on a cardiac monitor, started an IV on him while the fire department continued to try to get him extricated.
The structural stability of the chest wall is compromised substantially, so we need to take over his breathing. So at the point that she is working with the team out at the vehicle to remove him, we're in the ambulance preparing to perform that procedure. It's called a rapid sequence intubation once he gets into the ambulance.
Your adrenaline's rushing, and with the weather conditions going on we had that day, and the mind concept of just, how am I going to get this guy out? Time just flies.
He was alert, able to talk to me. He was telling me that he actually had no complaints. He was, I'm okay, I'm okay. I don't think he realized the extent of his injuries.
Well, a lot of people tell me I'm the most unlucky guy there is.
Just a heads up, Union. Subject is entrapped in the vehicle with a tree branch impaled into his chest.
Thanks for the heads up. We'll activate the level 1.
Matt Cheatham's next stop, Union Hospital's emergency department, where a trauma team led by Surgeon Brandon Lynch, MD, was waiting.
With trauma, the sooner you can get the team here, the better the care is going to be. And so she actually activated the level 1 trauma, which is the highest level of activation you can get, before Mr. Cheatham even arrived in the ER, before we even truly knew that this was what it really truly came in as. So she got the surgeons here, she got the blood bank here, she got radiology here, we had all the ER team prepped and ready, and they were in this very trauma room before he ever arrived in the door.
The EMS sent us a picture of the impalement with this huge branch right through his chest. And this is definitely the biggest object I've seen through someone's chest. So it was certainly a first. Interestingly, this tree branch was so long, I was worried we'd have difficulty moving him onto the operating room table. And we had supplies get us a sawzall, and I actually trimmed down the tree branch in the trauma bay with a sawzall. We had basically everything ready to go in case there was a terrible bleeding problem. That's the biggest thing we were worrying about when taking this out. It was amazing just him being alive there at that time. But I mean, I had a pretty good feeling that if he had lived this long to get extricated from the field and brought into the emergency department, that we could probably get him through it.
Because of highly trained volunteer first responders from Goshen Fire Rescue working alongside the paramedics and EMTs from Transcare, Matt was safely removed from his car and quickly transported to Union Hospital in Terre Haute, where a trauma team was standing by to save his life. This is an X-ray image of the wound inflicted by the limb, and this is the limb on the OR floor after it was removed. Amazingly, roughly 3 months after his brush with death and the time spent at IU Methodist to reconstruct his chest, Matt Cheatham returned to work.
This is definitely not a regular day surgery. This is a surgery you remember your whole life.
The pieces of the trauma system fell into place exactly how they're supposed to. Matt's incredibly lucky, first off. He had a huge stroke of luck with how the angle of the branch hit him.
God got me through that. I mean, he's in control, and he got me through that. But along the way, he provided people like the nurses, the doctors that stepped in and helped, and really thankful for them, because without them, you know, who knows how I'd ended up.
This story is a testimony to the Wabash Valley's first responders and the abilities of the Union Health Trauma Team and how they are quite literally prepared for anything.